Yeah, I thought it was super interesting to hear you talk about Bowerbirds and kind of their
Yeah.
process. And I was wondering if you could expand on that and then maybe discuss how that's like relevant to mate selection and in humans too.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I don't follow bowerbird research super closely anyway. I just always love to talk about bowerbirds. One, because I always love to cram birds into any discussion I'm having, but also two, yeah, they're just like a super evocative example of mate choice, and I think just a super great example of the power of mate choice in explaining life. So yeah, bowerbirds are these crazy little Australian birds. It's actually like a group of birds. There's several bowerbird species, but the thing that is distinctive about them, they do this. Different species do this in slightly different ways, but basically the bowerbird mating process is the males construct these like crazy elaborate little towers. I mean, you got to Google this if you haven't seen this before. They're so crazy. There's just like little shrines constructed out of mostly twigs, but also things like flowers and feathers, and they'll also like collect like colored pieces of garbage like pen caps and bottle caps and stuff like that, and feathers. And I mean, if you were like walking in the woods and you didn't know anything about birds, if you came across one of these things, you would think a human had to have constructed this, right? There's no way this came together, on accident. And there's no way that like some non-human animal, created this odd little structure. But no, it's birds. Um, um, so the males construct these weird little shrines, and the females come and they inspect the male's shrine. They're also competitive, I should say. So the males of at least some species, if they're given the chance, they will destroy another male's bower and they'll steal materials that they like from their bowers to bring home to their own bowers. And they do this because the females inspect the bower, and I don't even know what criteria the females are using. I don't know if it's like perfectly known exactly what criteria the females are using for these bowers, but if the females like the bower enough, then they will mate with the male. And what's extra crazy about this is the bowers are totally useless. Like they have no utilitarian functionality. They are not nests. They do not nest in the bowers. They're purely decorative. But for whatever reason, females are really attracted to males who build good bowers, whatever a good bower is to a bowerbird. And so males have evolved this obsession with building these crazy little garbage towers. And it's just like, it, it's such a beautiful example of the importance of mating to evolution and the importance of evolution to constructing behavior, right? Like there's no account, there's no way you would ever expect these little birds who are just trying to like make it in the harsh world of nature that they would spend so much of their precious time and energy constructing these useless little shrines, other than it gets them mating opportunities.
I mean, because as we were talking about before, my mind just jumps to like, how would a bird species like this have not like evolutionarily selected for not building that? Like, why is using energy to do that such a good I mean, it had to have, that must have been what allowed it to remain as mate choice and like procreation. I mean, I can't think of any other thing than that, but because it sounds like a colossal waste of time.
Right. Yeah. No. And this is a very common thing when you're thinking about sexual selection, right? Yeah. This is like, there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many calories that you're going to successfully forage out of your food, and like you've got to live to tomorrow, right? And this is something that us living in our modern, industrialized, Western, well-fed lifestyles is maybe harder for us to sympathize with, because it's like, so easy to get food. We just go to the grocery store. But if you're a little bird living out in the wild, like, every day you're in danger. And so to be spending, your precious time on this stupid little shrine, like surely all else equal, a bird that did not waste its time on this, right, would survive better than a bird that was obsessed with building a weird, useless little tower. But all else isn't equal, right? Because the birds who get this get more mating opportunities, and the ultimate currency of natural selection is reproduction in genes, right? It's no value surviving an extra 1,000 years if you don't produce any offspring. It's much better to die a day sooner if it means you produce an extra offspring. So sexual selection, and natural selection are sort of duking it out amongst one another. And the balance point in this case is, it's better to waste some of that precious time and energy building these towers if it gets you more mating opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that possibly you know more about this animal. Have you done research about, or just read research about sloths and kind of their mating preference?
No, I don't know anything about sloth mating, actually.
Hash it out, Nick. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's gonna have to like fact check me on this, but I was listening to a podcast about somebody who's done a lot of research with sloths, and the female sloth will sloths will just spend most of their lives in trees, and once a week a female sloth will climb down the tree, go to the bathroom on the ground next to the tree, and will climb back up in the tree. And they do this very specifically so that males can get the scent that they're leaving and then choose the correct tree to go up. And they do this like weird call too. But yeah, they talked about how this is like such an important process, because if a male chooses the wrong tree, like they're so slow that it's like pretty like, okay, this isn't going to work. Like we're done.
Yeah. Oh, that is very interesting if true. Yeah. I mean, imagine. Yeah, mate choice is probably a pretty hard task if you're a slow moving animal that lives in trees, right? You can't just like whip out your phone and find the nearest sloth who's interested, right? You've got a 3-dimensional branch-filled space that you've got to search. Having a strong scent cue as to which trees are likely to pay off is probably pretty useful.
So interesting. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you tuning into that, and we hope you found that helpful.
If you're interested in watching more professors give us a deep dive in some of their areas of expertise, please click on the video below.
And also subscribe right here. We hope you have a good day.
See you in the next one.
See ya.